All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, December 3rd, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. I am quite a happy camper now, at least with what you see on the screen. Great to see every one of us here for this afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check, as always, to begin. Make sure everyone here can hear me loud and clear. Perfect. Bill, Rob, Greg, the casuals here inside our trading room. I say that in great manner. Goes to show, hey, the more you stick around, the more you try and make money, the more you end up making money because you just learn over time from the mistakes that you make. You learn from the trials and tribulations. So, great to see all of us. Sharon, Debbie, David, Leda, Philip, Kathleen, all of our students here joining us inside the trading room. And for all of us on social media, rather, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. So, Riot, man, I will just say very quickly, it's been a tough week. Really, this whole week has been very tough. Really, maybe outside of Monday. Monday was pretty good for me. Tuesday was tough. Wednesday, yesterday, I ended up losing. I took a small loss. I ended up like barely scraping by on Tuesday. So it's been up and down. Really, like one of the odder weeks that I've had. I know one of our students, Greg, said the same thing this morning. That was up until Riot. So I was having the same type of day today as I had just yesterday and back on Tuesday. Well, Riot is actually making a strong push up without Bitcoin really making that big push as well. So, whereas you see Riot breaking out shortly after the market opened, ended up right around 10:30, I should say, broke out from right around 880, 875. At that point, I was more interested in it off of 9, and I took a couple of trades in and out on this off of 9. So it took a little while to get the gears going, and I'm happy that I ended up re-entering the way I did. I was like contemplating because I was up and down on the day and up and down on this. I was saying, well, should I look to take one more entry on this stock, one more entry here? Well, I ended up jumping in the trade when it ended up breaking over 9 right here. It broke under 9. I set a stop limit order to buy over 9. I did it on double position too because I was up and down. I said, you know what? If this is going to go, then do it here. If not, it's not really revenge trading and not too emotional. It's based on strategy. So, if it goes the other way, that's it. You're done. You're not going to trade this going forward. Well, not only did it end up moving up, but obviously now this thing is like, running beautifully. So, thankfully it took a long while, but the Riot trade making a phenomenal push. Pretty interesting though. I didn't really see Bitcoin make a strong push though recently. I mean, it made obviously a big pop like a few days ago, pulled back, but right now it's like pretty flat. Not a whole lot going on Bitcoin, whereas normally when Bitcoin makes a big move up, we happen to see Riot blockchain, Mara, it's Marathon patent. Both of those stocks will move with it pretty sharply. I guess with the market moving up nicely this morning, Riot pushed up with it, but we had a nasty shake, and then from there, Riot held strong. So what I did on this trade right before the afternoon meeting started, I told us inside the trading room this. I said that I took half my position out at 9:53. What happened was, my goodness, this thing had a monster shake out of nowhere. I mean, this really came unexpected. So, I didn't have a stop set. I was like, I probably should have, but nonetheless, ended up dropping and then instantly moved back up. So by the time it pulled back down and back up to like 940-ish, I said to myself there, like, all right, well, it breaks any lower, we're going to probably just jump out. That's it. Ended up pushing back up, and I said, I'll just take half profits now at 953, pushing up a little bit more now. So I'm still in on this on 1,000 shares. We'll see if this can make a push. I had 980 in mind as like a potential target by end of day. I wrote to Fausto inside the trading room via private message. I said to him just earlier, I said, I think Riot can get to 10 by after hours today if all goes according to plan. So, what I mean by after hours is, maybe by the end of the day today, by 4 o'clock, it tops off at like 975, 980. If all goes according to plan, that is, right? If the markets drop off, if Bitcoin tanks, then this is going to go with it. But nonetheless, if this keeps going, I do have 980 as like a nice target in mind. And then from there, in the after hours, after the market closes, perhaps you'll see it run with Bitcoin at that time. So just keep a good eye on this Riot trade for the remainder of the day. Riot, and then also, like I said, I'll go back to Mara, M-A-R-A, Marathon pattern. Both stocks kind of move the same. MARA finally re-breaking over resistance off of 6, making a sharper move up to the high right now, 610. So both, right? Riot and Mara we'll start off with. All right. Chuck saying LIZI IPO. Now, that was one from earlier today that made a bit of a pop, and now it actually is popping up once again. So, yeah, very good call from Chuck. I was going to get to this, but, I was a little skeptical of this making a new move heading into the afternoon, but alas, here we are. LIZI ended up making a big push in pre-market, started dumping off by like 8 o'clock Eastern. It didn't really build back up at that point, so I took my eyes off it really at that point in time. myself. Rightfully so, it made the watch list. So, hey, if it ended up breaking out, then we would have been there to catch it. And obviously, right now, it's trying to make that move. But, it took a long while to get this going, right? It popped over 450. A lot of buying came in from there as it ran up towards 5 and above, but held off the pre-market highs. The volume died off. And again, from that point, I would have thought this would have been dead in the water. So for right now, seeing the stock make a nice push, definitely better now than ever. On this trade, I'm going to assume off the high here at the time, right off that like 525-ish, maybe 515, we ended up seeing a lot of buying coming in off that price. Let's see. Man, the stock's showing so much volume. I'm seeing a lot of prints off 520, 522, just as I'm skimming the tape here, so to say. So as this continues to run up, the hope would be to see the highs previously and perhaps that 520-ish, 522 price hold. It hasn't really jolted on up. I mean, it had a big pop and a second little, push here, but I feel like if it breaks below 520-ish, 522 here, pretty sharp, be careful. So definitely a great call from Chuck. We'll see if this still has more life left to it than this. But for right now, this will make the cut. If this tanks and drops 50 cents, 60 cents, then probably going to scratch it off. But for right now, we'll keep it on. All right, I want to talk about EVK pretty quickly because also something that I wanted to talk about. I didn't have the news for Lizzie, Lizi, just before, but I'm going to copy and paste the news, or well, maybe lack thereof, on EVK. So for all of us on social media, I just posted that for you folks, and then for all of us inside the trading room, just shares of EVK essentially trading higher on heavy volume, not seeing company-specific news for the session. I'm not a fan of that. Really, I'm not a fan of a stock pumping up with no reason, right? Now, I don't know if there was news that led to this squeeze up going back into earlier mid-October you could see there, but 675 was the high at the time. It ended up testing that early in pre-market, and then after the open dumped off. So very similar to Lizzie, ended up exploding though out of nowhere, broke out over 550, broke out over 6, and so forth. I was hopeful to see this pull back closer to 6 and 620-ish, but ended up holding off the pre-market highs nicely heading into the afternoon. But nonetheless, here, not a whole lot going on right now. It just broke over 8, pulled back sharply. There's your false breakout, so to say, from there. I'm not as keen to put this on our main list just yet, but just wanted to start by going over this as we kind of transition to the gainers list here. All right, so this LIZI still trying to hold over that 520-ish, 522, but I tell you, I'll come back to it. If it's not going to make this pop really soon, there's only one other way this stock's going. Stocks go up and down. That's it. And the chart goes from left to right. So it needs to make that move pronto. WDR, just buy out, you could tell. TGA, not a whole lot going on there. ITRM, I thought, had a nice pop in pre-market, or no, after the open. That's right. Fausto called this out. Nice cheapy, actually really quick. I mean, just a really nice snip from class here, so to say, but beautiful Fausto flag. A little short-lived Fausto flag, but nonetheless, we ended up seeing this make a push off the dollar price level here up towards 115. So great play. If it falls in our lap, we'll take it. Not as if we're trying to trade the penny stocks or stocks below 1, but at least we can load up on shares. And if there's a good opportunity like that, then why the hell not? All right, let's see. As we go down, we have the ARLO. This is one that's pretty familiar. We are familiar with this, I should say. Ended up going back as early as July, but more so just from the end of last week and this week too. Ended up popping. So at least today, making a strong push up towards the high at the time, 740. Here at this point, not a whole lot going on. Already made a big move. If it's not really holding near the highs like Riot is. Riot, by the way, pumping all the way up to 975, getting pretty close to my target already. Geez, I might get out. I might just take the rest of my shares. I mean, this day was so wonky up and down for me, and I mean, really just more on the losing side than anything. So this certainly turned my day into a positive. I would like to just really get the hell out now. It topped off at 975. So on the next push up, I'm probably just going to sell. And NDM, better now than ever too with this. Ended up running at least after the market opened up, but more so at least going into the late morning, died off. Had some huge resistance levels. Actually, it just broke above it at 760. Take a look at all of the green on the tape. Just 1760 broke. 750 initially, and then from there 760, 60K print here, 39K print, 18K. It all adds up. So, just if you could imagine, there was like 150, 200K on the ask at that price. So for what it's worth, NNDM looking really good. Going to put this near the top, right alongside the blockchain stocks. All right, the hell with this. I'm out on Riot. I just closed at 979. If it pops up any higher, I'm fine. I'll just try and re-enter. I'll take it. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm a happy camper now, I will say. Jeez. Try and contain your emotions, though, most importantly, even happiness too at the same time, because as much as I would want to just sit on my hands and take my money and run now at this point, there's still a whole lot of ball game left, and I gotta remain clear-minded, right? So we'll go back to Riot by the end of this meeting. We'll check out a few others. Michaels made a nice push up today. Fausto called this out. Really good call. He ended up getting in, I think it was right off the pot from around 11 or 11:10 and pushed up towards like 11:55, 11:60 at the time he got out, but ended up going a lot higher. So, ended up making great push. We've been trading Michaels on and off, more so over the summer, late August, early September. Ended up running up. So died off and then big pop here today. So definitely good one to keep in mind for tomorrow. Definitely good one to keep in mind for, next week and so forth. Kirkland. I already did Kirkland. I'm sorry. The scanner's refreshed on me. Let's see. What else? That's it. As far as any other familiar names, maybe this AHT stock we are familiar with, I should say, but popped up earlier. Not a whole lot going on now. All right. All right, good thing I got out on Riot. Just had to shake back down to 973. There we go. All right, let's hop over to the losers list right now. Listen, if you have a plan and if you have a goal in mind and it's right there, don't try and get greedy, right? I mean, you could always re-enter the trade after. So we'll check back in on that. Holy smokes, what happened to Cinemark? I didn't see this today. I know one of our students, Norman, had followed this earlier on, but I didn't really keep my eyes on this, really. This is my first time, honestly, seeing CNK today. My eyes have been glued on a few others, which I will get to, like the pot stocks and so forth. Pot stocks are moving up, so likely we will follow those here in the afternoon. But CNK at first, pretty interesting. At 1:11 Eastern time, I'm just going to read it, not copy and paste, but Cinemark trading higher. Strength potentially relates to COVID-19 vaccine optimism. Okay. Movie theater stocks fall sharply after AT&T announces 2021 film distribution on HBO Max. Wow. Okay, so that I will copy and paste. I was going to say the first one didn't really seem too meaningful for this drop off, but nonetheless, we have a big drop on CNK. I would assume the same, obviously, on like AMC and so forth. But yeah, CNK you can short. So we already missed a good chunk of this short so far, but hopefully a lot more to go. AMC, CNK. AMC, I don't know if you can get the shares to short. I will put it on the list just in case, but CNK is the one I'll be more interested in myself. All right. If there's any others like Regal, if you know any other tickers for like movie theaters, let me know. I'm sure I'll find it as I go down. But AMC was already number 7. Land's End, LE, moving up a little bit. Not a whole lot going on otherwise, though. We have a great list already, so. Especially now with CNK still dropping off, and even if it holds and moves back up, it provides great bounce opportunity in that case. So, just given the range on CNK, I'm definitely interested in that. Riot, obviously, my interest in that. We get to the pot stocks, like I had said just before. Those are looking pretty good now. They're teasing us earlier, so we'll get to them in a moment. UNG, gas fund, right? Natural gas fund. Dropped off in pre-market more so. Dropped off a little bit after the open too. All right. That's it, folks. If there's anything else, let me know. Type here in the chat board from David C. CLRB. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't know if I skipped over this. Maybe I did. Maybe it was just kind of crawling up over the last couple of minutes, David. But yeah, pretty interesting. I like it. Near the high of the day, you have a major resistance otherwise at 250, a 34,000 share order on the ask. So I would consider both as resistance, see what happens off 240 first, and then go from there. Yeah, good call. From Debbie, she's saying FT popped, and then Mike, we're going to get to that, of course, ACB. Yeah, this one made a really nice pop. Great call from Debbie. Yeah, so this one definitely was creeping on up as I was going through the losers list at least, but that's why I always like to ask, what's the news on this trade? I do not see any from Benzinga Pro. All right, well, I'm sure there'll be news pretty shortly. Or if not, I mean, EVK, I was not really too particular about. So if this is pumping up for no reason and that's it, you got to be careful for the pump, then dump back down. But yeah, great call for what it's worth here. All right, so let's go to pot stocks. We have the Dow kind of up on the screen right now, but normally I would also have MJ up on my other monitor here too. MJ pot ETF pushing up right now, not up, a whole lot percent wise, but everything else is moving up with it. So another trade that I'm in right now, I've been in this really from 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm in on the ACB trade from 1095. It wasn't the greatest entry. Now, obviously, I'm up, but it was a tough time trying to get a profit on this trade today. So I ended up jumping in initially from 1102, and then I ended up averaging down off 1090, and then still, it was a pain in the ass, honestly, and I'll say that bluntly, but pushed right back on up, and obviously now we are looking much better. So I had this on my screen. Like I said, I was going to get to pot for that reason. I have ACB on my multi-stock workspace, we'll call it. So Mike says he's in right there with me at 1094. All right. Well, I think you entered in on one shot, Mike, and probably on a better entry as it was moving back up. I had to deal with the consolidation. I was pulling my hair out. So nonetheless, ACB, don't get it confused with ACB. I'm going to try and separate them on the list. ACB looking really good. I might just put pot all together, but Tilray is starting to make that push right now. I find better opportunity in ACB, just given the reverse splits over the years and just the volatility and range. Otherwise, CGC. Yeah, I like ACB more. It's making a sharper push based on the price. From Terrence Airlines, that's right. So of course, American Airlines, not just American Airlines, all of the airlines plus all of the cruise lines on top. So all of those made big pushes earlier, but I feel like they're flat right now. So if we happen to see a push on them, Terrence, maybe by 315, 330, those would be better call outs at the time. I'm getting out on ACB right now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's pushing up too much right now. At this point, I'm just taking the money because, again, my day was honestly pretty crap up until right now. So I see ACB popped all the way up to 1127. I just took profits. If it goes up to 1140, 1150, I don't care. There we go. All right. So we are doing much better now. All right. Perfect. It goes to show, folks, it's never over till it's over, right? So as long as you're clear-minded, as long as you're keeping your mind focused on the task at hand, just the strategy to be employed, and that's it. Don't bring anything else into the game. That's it. There's going to be an opportunity to make money, all right? So can you explain what a stop removal is? It's just, in sense, it's like, the larger traders that are controlling a stock, like Riot, perhaps, that unexpected shake, right? I mean, did I expect that beforehand? No. So I was pretty nervous at the time, Juan. That's why I took half out when it moved back up. I would have gotten out otherwise if it dropped more. But, it's more after the fact that you could sense that. Just when it shakes down as quickly as it did and then pop back up, once it pops back up, then you think if it could run up higher, then that was simply set to take the stop orders out. Take the stops out, and then for the market makers who now own those shares to run it back up. All right, we talk more about that in the phase 2 stock course. We actually just covered that to a good degree back last week. And then I know that Fausto just finished up the phase 3 course yesterday, but we do these classes every month. If you'd like to learn more about our curriculum, the phase 1 through 3 classes, just talk to your education advisor about that. All right, folks, for all of us on social media, I think that we're good to go otherwise. Chuck saying, not sure you mentioned F-Cell. It did take out that order on the bid 750. So I didn't go over F-Cell. Man, that was such a tease all day. Not a whole lot going on here. I mean, it did take it out, Chuck. So, with that in mind, maybe later on today it can make a better move, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Honestly, it made a nice drop off. You took a great short, Chuck. I want to give you a shout out because I saw your trade. You took a trade on this stock that I wanted to take, and I was too hesitant on taking because I was down on the morning. So Chuck ended up shorting this from 790 when it rebroke. I was watching that. That was a great trade. From Wayne, he says, better to be stopped out than shaken out bareback. Yeah, that's for sure. ACB still pushing up. That's right. So ACB on the way up to 1140 right now. So like I said, just take the money and run within the next few minutes. I'm sure there's going to be a new opportunity to try and get back in on these trades. All right, for all of us in social media, Facebook and YouTube Live, if you'd like to learn more, just first make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. And then otherwise, feel more than free to join us Monday to Friday right here in the Cyber Group Trading Room. All right, for all of us on social, or for all of us in the trading room, rather, I'm going to post and tweet these picks out to you right now. I'm going to go into a coaching call in just a little bit. I'll jump out of that right at 3:30, and then I'll take us going into the final 30 minutes. Take care.